The first thing he heard wasn't a voiced it was a sob, raw, broken, the kind that didn't belong in a corner office with glass walls and city views. Daniel froze in the doorway. He hadn't meant to intrude. He was a single dad juggling deadlines, daycare pickup times, and a coffee that had gone cold hours ago. He'd only come to deliver the signed reports his CEO had urgently requested. The door to her office was slightly open, lights dimmed, blinds half drawn. He knocked once, softly. No answer. Then he heard it again, crying, not polite tears. Not the quiet sniffles people hide behind professionalism. This was grief. This was exhaustion cracking under years of pressure. Daniel should have turned around, but before he could step back, the woman inside spoke, her voice trembling, barely holding together. Daniel, if that's you, please don't leave. He stepped inside slowly. Sophia Reynolds, CEO, industry powerhouse, the woman people whispered about with a mix of fear and admiration, was sitting on the floor beside her desk. Her heels were kicked off. Her hair, usually flawless, had slipped loose. Her face was buried in her hands. Daniel had never seen her like this. No one had. I'm sorry, he said quickly. I didn't mean to. Close the door, she interrupted, lifting her head. Her eyes were red, her mascara smudged. Please. He did. Silence filled the room, heavy and awkward. I don't need the reports, she said after a moment. I needed someone. And you were the only person I knew wouldn't look at me like I was weak. That sentence hit him harder than any reprimand ever had. Daniel wasn't special in this company. He was efficient, dependable, invisible. A single dad who left exactly at 5 to pick up his daughter. Not part of the inner circle. Not invited to after-hours drinks. Just, steady. Why me? He asked quietly. She laughed, but it broke halfway through. Because you're the only one here who understands what it's like to carry everything alone. Daniel didn't respond. He didn't need to. Sophia wiped her face, took a shaky breath, and said the words that changed everything. I need you to help me disappear. Just for a little while. Daniel stared at her. Disappear? For 1 week, she said. No board meetings. No investors. No press. No staff knowing where I am. I need to step away before I completely break. That's not possible, he said carefully. You're the CEO. I'm also human, she snapped, then softened. And I'm drowning. He thought of his own nights, sitting on the edge of his daughter's bed after she fell asleep, wondering how he'd stretch the paycheck, how he'd show up strong when he felt empty. He thought of how many times he'd wanted to stop the world for just one breath. What do you need from me? He asked. Her eyes locked onto his. I want you to be my cover. Tell them I'm on a confidential trip with you handling critical operations under my direction. Daniel nearly laughed. Me? You, she said firmly. You're competent. You don't gossip. And you know what responsibility looks like when failure isn't an option. This was insane, and yet, something in her voice wasn't entitlement. It was desperation. I'll do it, he said finally. On one condition. She waited. You take care of yourself. Really take care of yourself. Not spa nonsense. Actual rest. Her shoulders sagged. Deal. The week that followed was the hardest of Daniel's career. Emails poured in. Meetings ran long. People questioned decisions that suddenly had his name attached. Some doubted him openly. Others smiled politely while waiting for him to fail. At home, his daughter Emma noticed everything. You look tired, Daddy, she said one night, handing him her favorite stuffed bear. You can borrow Mr. Buttons. He helps me when I'm scared. Daniel swallowed hard and hugged her. I'm okay, he said. Just helping someone. Sophia, meanwhile, stayed silent. No calls. No messages. Daniel worried. On the seventh day, she returned, not in a power suit. Not with an entourage. She walked into the office wearing a simple coat, face calm, eyes clear. She went straight to Daniel's desk. "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved my life." He didn't know what to say. The board never knew. The company stabilized. The crisis passed, but something fundamental shifted. Sophia changed. She delegated more. She listened. She stopped rewarding burnout like it was loyalty. And Daniel, he was promoted, not because of politics, but because someone finally saw him. Months later, Sophia invited Daniel and Emma to lunch. Emma looked up at her, serious as only children can be. "My daddy says you were sad." Sophia smiled, eyes warm. "I was. But he helped me." Emma nodded. "That's what dads do." Daniel watched the two of them, heart full. He realized then that strength wasn't about never breaking. It was about trusting someone enough to ask for help. And sometimes, the quietest people in the room carry the greatest courage of all.